lovers! In this video, I'm going to be taking you through the completion of this figure painting in oil. Here's my palette for this painting. Let's start over on this side. These colors here, they're still wet, so I'm kind of tempted to use them. We'll see if I can incorporate them into the painting. I have Portland Gray Warm, my Mucky Gray Mix, Azo Green, Yellow Ochre, Viridian, Ivory Black, Ultramarine Blue, Iron Violet, Burnt Sienna, Dioxazine Purple, Alizarin Crimson, Cadmium Red Medium, Cadmium Orange Medium, Cadmium Yellow Light, Titanium Buff, and Titanium White. These are both piles of Titanium White. Now, I often do put two piles on because I keep one for mixing warms and one for mixing cools, so I don't cross-contaminate them. I used an assortment of brushes for this painting, some hog hairs and some synthetic. I've got rounds, filberts, and long flats. I pretty much use whatever gets the job done. I started, as always, using my viewfinder and a graphite pencil. I'm working from life here, so I didn't get too detailed with the drawing because there's always some settling in the pose as time goes on. When you're working from life, you kind of have to stay a bit pliable with your lines. I'm relying heavily on my Mucky Gray Mix and Burnt Sienna for the beginning phase of this painting. I'm adding some Titanium White to this mixture and a little bit of Yellow Ochre in some of the lighter skin tones, but most of the skin tones were created using Burnt Sienna, Titanium White, and Mucky Gray. I'm working on a 16 by 20 inch panel, and it's just primed with an acrylic gesso. I really struggled with this guitar. It was very difficult to draw at this angle. It's a smaller size guitar, so it's bigger than a ukulele, but it's smaller than a regular guitar. And the maker is Dana, and that's why the painting's called Dana. It's very loose at this point and a bit spooky looking. Nothing is in any permanent place. I got treated to some live music, although Dana is a little bit out of tune. is turning out to be a real challenge. It's got a lot of like perspective things going on, and so it's been sort of an uphill battle, but I'm hoping if I spend enough time on it, it'll work itself out, or I'll lose my mind. I finally ended up propping the guitar up on a chair and pillow with my tripod because I couldn't get its lines in properly while it was moving. I've put a thin layer of walnut oil on it. I mixed it with alcohol and you can see it sort of removed a little bit of the paint. So you have to be careful when you're working with alcohol as a solvent because it does remove thin or fragile paint surfaces. So there was a little divot there, and normally I can just scratch that off and it would be fine, but because the alcohol had softened the paint, it left that there. I'll just cover it up today. I've got to rework the face, and I'm having the model come and I can work from life, which I always prefer. I really enjoy working from life. It's not for everyone though. You'll always have slight movements in the pose, and if you're using natural light, like I am, you might get some light fluctuations as well. You're kind of compiling the scene from a variety of moments and almost chasing it a little bit. I recognize this isn't for everybody, but I kind of like this method. I don't know, I find it mentally stimulating. For this painting, I worked from a combination of life and a little bit of photo and just making stuff up and using sort of my judgment and imagination. One of the things I like so much about working from life is that I get to be the first to edit the subject. Once you take a picture, it's been edited by the camera, and you're already limited by the camera's editing. If you can swing getting a bit of time working from life, it's usually beneficial. There's always different points in a painting where the painting looks the most like the model, and for this particular painting, it's this point. I'm not aiming for a likeness at all in this painting. I usually don't. I like to create someone new. This person is a blend of the model, sometimes myself, or a wide variety of people. Sometimes they're people from paintings that I like. In this painting, I was going for sort of a Rococo mood, so I looked at a lot of Elizabeth Vigée Lebrun and thought about that sort of playful, soft, feminine aspect in her paintings, particularly these two paintings of her daughter. I was also inspired by her painting of Flora. I just love a flower crown. I'm fussing with this guitar again. I've spent so much time redoing it, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep at it until I'm satisfied with it. More tinkering on the face. I'm keeping all the skin tones in a very narrow tonal range. I'm using very diffuse natural light, so there are no harsh shadows on my subject. Here is my stand-in model. She is going to be modeling my headpiece. Isn't she lovely? I'm going to be rubbing a thin layer of walnut oil mixed with rubbing alcohol all over the surface. And that's basically going to fix something called sinking in. And that's where usually happens with your darks, where they go kind of matte and frosty looking. And it's hard to tell what color they actually are. It'll kind of reawaken the paint layer so that I can put a layer of paint over it and it will accept it much easier. I've just got my oil in a separate little container so I could mix it with alcohol. And you can use solvent. I just have an allergy and I'm working inside, so I'm using 99% rubbing alcohol. You just have to be careful that it doesn't take off the paint layer underneath. I decided to darken the background and add a bit of my turquoise blues in. Next, I wanted to cool off the skin tones a little bit. I reworked the dress because I felt that it just needed to look more, well, cottony. White cotton dresses were all the rage in the late 1700s thanks to Queen Marie Antoinette. Also, thanks to Elizabeth Lebrun, because she painted the Queen in her white chemise dress, and it caused a sensation because this cotton material was usually reserved for making undergarments, and people were saying that the Queen was wearing her underwear in this painting. Not many of these dresses survive because the cotton was very, very valuable. The majority of the dresses were repurposed, a lot of the times to make very fine white paper. At this point, I'm adding some of the finer lines and details, along with some of the highlights. I'm refining the forms as I go. Now it's time to repaint everything. I decided I wanted a bit more variation in the background, so I grabbed the palette knife. I wasn't happy with the texture I'd gotten in the hair, so I repainted that too. I could probably work on this forever, but I think I'm gonna call it done. It's gone through a lot of different changes, and that's pretty normal for every painting I do. Well, this is the conclusion of our painting. I hope you enjoyed watching the process, and if you want to see more of my paintings, you can subscribe to Tara Juno Painting Stuff. Thank you so much for joining me for this painting. Have a great day.